Hey, so I looked at the syllabus and we have our marketing project introductions, the topics. So has everyone sort of selected something? Yes? No? Anyone who has not selected anything? No. No. Let's try to have that because I want us to sort of, once again, come up here, maybe introduce our topics, what we'll be covering, right? So if you can maybe create some sort of outline, how you're gonna, what it is exactly you're gonna cover, how you plan on going about it. We can kind of keep that going too as part of our presentations. So maybe we could bounce ideas off each other, or just get some insight. Our little sort of current events, marketing, or items. Who has something? Tim, Mike, here. Yeah, little blurs. Okay, so maybe we'll do you for today, and we'll do the remainder on Thursday. Okay. All right, moving along. All right, so we covered a lot of policies, cultural dimensions, right? So I'm pretty sure I've reiterated that enough, but that'll kind of be the consistent thing that I kind of talk about throughout the course, but we'll come back to it, right? We talked about sources, values, how cultures value different things, and now we're starting to creep into the marketing aspect, right? How do we fit this all into international marketing, global marketing, cross-cultural marketing, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to look how cultures sort of define meanings, right? And what do we do as marketers to kind of mold our products and our services to meet those meanings? We'll look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Different individuals need different things at different times in their life, right? So we'll look at how that impacts culture and marketing and the consumer behavior process, right? So think about that. And one thing we can kind of keep in mind is we're always discussing culture, right? We discuss collectivism, individualism, but we do have to think of just basic cultural identity, right? So we say, well, what is cultural identity? All right, race, ethnicity, right? But all right, that's one aspect. That is a unique cultural identity that we all have, right? We say, hey, age, right? If we are marketing, we are concerned with people say that we're marketing to children, or we're marketing to parents. Do we influence the parents to influence the children? Do we influence the children to influence the parents? We're marketing to people who are seniors, advanced age, or marketing to young individuals like yourself. Mine, somewhat middle age, but young. So race, ethnicity, age, and then we say sex and gender, right? Huge. Right? We say, hey, we like alternative lifestyles, we like alternative identities, but also gender roles are important too, right? We marketing to a patriarch, a matriarch sort of society, and so how does that impact it? Religion. Right? Say, oh, the culture is very religious, so religious that maybe its constitutional doctrine is fostered by religious figures, some sort of book, scripture, if you will, some sort of text, right? How does religion, how does religion? Maybe we think of what else could we think of for cultural identities? They say, hey, religious or spiritual. All right, some people are not religious, but we're spiritual. Or, we would say, hey, I love in yoga, I love hiking, and in some real degree that is a spiritual sort of practice for me, right? It's just an alternative. So, sex and gender, spiritual, religious aspect. Do you think of anything else that creates cultural identity? Literally that creates the identity of people that helps us. Anything else you can think of? And maybe we say, we can add one more is ability or discipline. We say, hey, you know what, as people do age, they have ailments, they get sick, they have to go to doctors, they may need assisted devices, walkers, wheelchairs, ramps, right, and disability actions, ramps, things like that. That also is a very big part of a person's identity, whether they are embracing that or bothers them, right, and how we treat them as such. So I just want to kind of leave that up there too, as we kind of go through these things. Hey, consumers buy meanings, right? So we're thinking two directions as marketers and as consumers. Marketers communicate meanings, right? Our job as future marketers, right, or current marketers is to convey a concept, a mental image. Very difficult to do. You know, how does Gucci convey the image of luxury? Just the products? Is it something beyond the products? How does Coca-Cola convey excitement and energy? The color red, we said energizes, but also means caution. That's why the stop sign is there. Right? So how do we kind of convey the right meaning to the right types of people? So they're not thinking of, oh, aware. They're thinking of, hey, this is exciting. Right? So we have to convey meanings to our consumers, and they buy meanings. Everything means. The sweatshirt we got on means something. I know we think it's probably doesn't. The shoes you bought, you made a decision, made a choice. It's price, quality, you like that brand. It's good. Something of the sort, but everything conveys meaning about who you are, right? Because there's a lot of alternatives that you rejected, that you said, no, I choose not to buy that or wear that, etc. So you're always communicating something to me and to others. Something is being communicated about who you are. And the marketers did a good job by making you buy that stuff. Consumer goods are vehicles for cultural meanings, and consumers choose to make use of the meanings. Right? So consumer goods are vehicles. Vehicles to solve a problem. And on the next slide, I think we'll start talking about hierarchy of needs. We say, thirsty, they can buy something to drink, they can buy a Gatorade, they can buy a hot water, they can buy Coke. I have to be influenced to something. Think of that, like you're thirsty, like what do I want? How do you decide? How do you even decide what do you want? Right? Time, chance, opportunity, cost, all that plays into a factor. Convenience, what's nearby, is it a vending machine? I'm not getting my cars to the club, I just go to the vending machine. Maybe go to the local cafe, maybe go all the way over to the cafeteria. Something of the sort, right? We have to make these decisions and we're influenced by these vehicles. And we make use of those meanings. Marketing is a process of exchange, right? Through buyer-seller relations. It's a relationship. If you buy brands over and over again, you have a relationship with that company, right? And a relationship has really big, strong points. You're like, hey, if I'm at Apple, say 15, like, man, it's really good. I like it. Well, quite satisfied. Then you go buy the 16, like, that's weird. So you're in this relationship and you're like, hey, I'm satisfied. They're doing a good job, they're being consistent, right? My expectations are being met. Or it's not. You're like, hey, I'm gonna check out Samsung phones soon because Apple's just not doing it for me. It doesn't meet my needs or expectations. And then once again, our needs and expectations change, right? Our values change. Things you like today, you may not like 2 years from now. So, we have to keep up. But as marketers, we don't necessarily have to keep up as much because we want to hit the targets of these categories, right? We'll try our best to keep that lifetime customer by still offering something just in a different category that will meet everybody in that category. Kind of like how Apple does it with the iPhone, right? iPhone Mini, iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro Max, iPhone, regular iPhones, right? It doesn't have to do a lot of work to meet specific sort of categories. It just sort of broaden the original item with just a few subtle changes, particularly in price. All right, exchanges are culture-based, shared by a social group. We're exchanging now in the classroom. Right, exchanging communication, absorbing information, conveying it. You're all part of a group. You're a member of the unit of the university. You have a shared sort of belief system of learning, higher education. You chose to do it here. You're all paying probably the same cost, right, per class. So we have a shared social group, and it has meaning to us. It is important, right? Because we're going to tell everybody about where you go to school, what you're doing, the sports, right? The baseball team is awesome, right? The basketball team is great. It's important to you. It has value. Did you ever? And culture is meta language, right? Central to the marketing process. Right? When we think meta usually means kind of after, right? Metaverse, after universe. Metaphysics, after physics. Right? Metacognition, thinking about things. Right? So we can say like, hey, we're thinking about meta language, like hey, language that we can easily kind of know. Right? I don't know, think of how difficult it is for you to describe it. Like, hey, why do you like that sweater? You get all the color, patterns, and then you're like, no, I just like it. Like, you kind of stifled by how we can describe it. Hey, why do you like that person? You'll name like essential qualities, and then you just feel like, I think they're great, right? Things are hard to kind of put sometimes as descriptors, but we know that there's something powerful beyond. The message is big. The language is very impactful, even though we may have trouble describing exactly what that is. So there is a meta language. It's sort of a subtle, hidden language that we all kind of know what it means, so it's just kind of hard to describe. Hierarchy of needs, right? Shape priority of demand across product types. Think of electric vehicles, right? Tesla. Like, do you really need an electrical vehicle? Not like you need one. Like, well, no. Right? But you know, do you need a vehicle? Yeah, like, yeah, I need a vehicle. Do you need an electric vehicle? No. The need is not there because there's an inconvenience. Like, what's the inconvenience? You got the network charging. You got to charge your phone. So unless you live in a house, live in an apartment building, and they have one inside the parking garages. But if you're driving around the city of Chicago, there's not a network. But we see Elon Musk, the richest man on earth. Right? So obviously Tesla is doing something well. Try to convey there should be a need for it. Right? And maybe the need is, it kind of changes. You're like, well, I do need it. Why? Because I hate oil changes. Right? I hate going to the alleyway mechanic to fix this part, right? I hate all these moving parts. I prefer it to be more electronic. And it just seems to be a little bit more easy, technologically advanced. So it's in the car with the phone, right? All the different things you can do with the electrical vehicle. I don't know, it may last longer, it may last a million miles. You never replace that battery. So we have to kind of understand, like, hey, what do people need within a particular product type? And some people say, well, I don't need electric, but hybrid's kind of cool. Right? I can fill up gas, but still using brake technology to reabsorb the energy, right? And it's still working on the battery as well too. Like, hey, that's a particular product type. I can use that. Why? Because I demand cheaper fuel economy. Demand better fuel economy. And then we have institutions, right? Societal norms impact behaviors. Political institutions, right? We're like, man, they really do impact. Send the immigration team out to get people off the street. And we see it impacts, it's still a real thing. Right? Hey, raise taxes. You see it. These institutions, government institutions, really impact. Right? Any way, shape, or form, it's going to impact us in some way. Like, oh, they raise the price of the university. I'm not going back there. It's too expensive. Right? These things impact, and then cultural-based values, right? We go back to that individualism and collectivism. It's just a different mindset, right? In collectivism, you have a support system, you have a net. Here, you probably don't, you're on your own, right? Hey, you're 18, like, get out the house. Don't act like a mom. In another part, you're like, oh, there's a baker to 35, or racial now. Why do you want to spend all that money? Right? Totally different mindset. We look at somebody older and then they stay with family. We're like, all right, family, is that what? Right. And then we go to other parties, like, oh, we want to live together. Right? We love having grandma in the next room to help with the kids, cousins, aunties, and everybody around. So totally different mindset. And different support systems, which makes it more difficult. We probably have a lot more stress because like, where's the support? Make the money yourself, right? Try to survive, or everyone's trying to survive. And other parts of the world, like, yeah, we don't, not that difficult to survive. We all contribute to each other. Right? And like, we're all together. Come here, a lot of family issues, right? I haven't talked to my cousin in 12 years, I haven't talked to my mom, good stuff like that, right? So totally different cultural-based values based on individualism, collectivism. All right, Maslow's. Who's familiar with Maslow? Maslow's hierarchy. What did you tell me? Do you remember anything?
Not really the order, but it's just like the order in which like people need something. Like as you get stuff, more things in life, like the things that they need, the changes happen.
Yeah. Hey, once you meet sort of priorities in the hierarchy, you tend to want something else. There's always a beyond. So think about this, like nothing really truly satisfies completely, maybe except at that top, which we'll discuss. So nothing truly satisfies. We just kind of see this within society, like, I get that car, I get a Ferrari, I'm satisfied. I feel that void. You always want to get that Ferrari. I feel accomplished. Then you get the Ferrari, right? Driving for about 3 months and you're like, oh man, I saw a Bugatti. I get that Bugatti. The Bugatti is something else, right? So it goes to show like, hey, no matter what. And then even people beyond Lord and Matter think like, I just worry about what they eat. They have money to eat, pay rent, utilities, things of that nature. They're not concerned about Ferrari. No, or care. Right? So there's a difference in hierarchies, and if we move up, continue to move up, let's say you finish the college degrees, you get the professional career, you start a family, you travel the world, you save money, you then buy a house, and you want to out. So Maslow is almost like the now life, right? Because I think in our current mind state, we're always thinking about the next goalpost without thinking about the larger picture. So the next goalpost for you is your degree, make money, get a job. Do a good job. Right? And then once you do that, you start to recognize that, hey, things are not always as you perceive them. Right? pros, because that's where your motivation lies. So Maslow's is pretty much wherever we are probably thinking about getting up to that next food chain. All right, so at the bottom, we have physiological needs. If you don't eat, you die. Food, shelter, transportation. If you don't really have shelter, you're not going to get that. So really, this is like life or death. And then, maybe the consumer side, we're saying cheaper, affordable things, right? You need food, you can buy you $1 can of salmon and cook it. Otherwise, well, that's not great. And you go to a restaurant and pay the salmon or something fancy. But we're saying, hey, you know what? All you really need is food, shelter, transportation, and cheaper, affordable. So that's where some of the market is. And that's why we have those to satisfy people who are not concerned with anything else other than food, shelter, transportation. They catch the CTA bus, right? They catch the train, they're not concerned about others. They have no interest in her. That's not what they have, right? So those people have their needs. Safety needs. Hey, we need retirement funds. What are you gonna do when you get old? Just keep working, right? Physically, you might not be able to do certain jobs. Self-defense classes, self-defense videos and books, nanny cameras, guns, alarm systems. Right, so next we have safety needs. We want to feel secure. We want our children to feel secure as well too. Highly different market, whole market dedicated to protecting people's property, right? Watching over the baby while they sleep so that they roll on the space and can't breathe. Taking self-defense classes, which you feel vulnerable. Retirement, 401ks, right? Things of that nature. Next, moving up. So you say now, okay, I got my basic needs, physiological and safety. I need other things now. I need love. I'm depressed. Are you depressed? I feel lonely. Right? There's so many people out there feeling lonely. They have the stuff. They're still lonely. All the material, cool things. Right? So they need love and belonging. We love to belong. We all want to belong to something. We say it all the time. Like, oh, I remember this. I do this. I'm part of this group. Right? We take deep pride in that. We can have parades on people who are very proud of their ethnic. You're in Chicago. Big old parade, right? So people are proud about belonging and they need love. We're social creatures. So what are some of the things in that market? Let's say magazines and things to keep them updated. Name brand items to help them fit in. Right? You want to be perceived as something, right? Maybe people, you might be into Yeezys or Gary's clothing. Alright? Maybe you want to buy that big house that Jaden Smith did for the Grammys and wear that, right? You want to fit in. Perfumes, makeup, clothes, and the tracking game up. Right? We want to track, we want to feel attractive, we want to feel good about ourselves. Self-improvement. People going on YouTube, looking up the gurus, right? All the great stoic quotes and Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, and all these things, right? Self-improvement. And then next, okay, beyond it, right? So we have to satisfy these first before we can move on. Right? So if we decide that we finally feel we belong, we finally feel loved, right? Next thing we kind of work on is self-concept. Right? Like, this is a lot of outwardness depending on other people. And you move beyond depending on others. And you get to esteem. So there's a whole sort of group of individuals who are at that point looking for esteem. Workout equipment, self-improvement, once again, right? Healthy foods, you want to take care of your body. Books to gain power and control. But hey, now I'm part of a team, I'm part of anything, and I want control. Like, you move beyond, you're like, I'm not going to. Secret Service? How about a concussion? What about becoming a cartel or mafia? Now get power and control over people, right? So it kind of moves beyond the esteem part. Other people, online financial investments, right? To have control over money. Control over money is a big one. Anti-aging, right? Trying to sort of conserve your youth. Expensive, right? Things jacked up. Going from really cheap stuff to expensive, right? And then we say because of conveyance of meaning. We want people to feel that we are great, awesome, that we are better than, right? That there's a hierarchy and we accomplish, right? There may be a target for people who feel that way. Something that feels secure, something that feels exclusive. Maybe you can't afford this, and I'm glad that I'm one of the few people who can, right? We want to feel secure. And then beyond that, so we kind of see like, hey, this is life. We've moved from, hey, we was in basic needs, now we need to be secure, okay, we need to be loved, part of the group, okay, now we have to kind of have control over others and feel superior to others. And then now you say, hey, maybe it all crashes. Crashes in the sense of like, hey, people at this level, at the last level, self-actualization. What do you think that means to be self-actualized? We can understand what these mean. What does that mean? Self-actualized. Yes.
Maybe like you found yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. All this searching, it's a lot of searching. Right? Like think of it. I mean, if we observe that out in society, like, whoa, people are on a journey. Right? They're not there yet. They don't even know themselves. Mimicking and copying things that they see outside. Because for us markers, because we can predict it. And these groups of individuals kind of have this behavior, predictable behavior. And then self-actualize. You know, like let's say here, you find yourself, or you have a strong self-concept, which usually means you're outside of yourself at this point. Right? Me. Outside. Share with people, giving to others makes you feel. Giving stuff to others makes you feel better than buying expensive clothes. Like having Ferraris and Rolls Royce, who got us to buy? Doesn't mean anything. Right? And think about it. Some people actually, their self-actualization kind of skewed. So think of the people that we know who are like in big trouble, like P. Diddy's or whatever. Be like the people who get everything. Control over money, control over people, expensive price clothes. They probably have a skewed self-actualization, and so essentially they just, they're continuing on with this. Control over money, control over others, but they're kind of masking it as if they're kind of nice people doing good stuff, like helping. But then we come to find out that not, no, they're doing like such crazy perverted like stuff that they just get bored. Right? They're bored with their own money. They're just doing really perverted things. But usually it should be self-actualization should occur. Right? You start to actually care more about the things and give it away. Hey, you buy experiences. So think about this. Buying experiences is buying travel. Like, hey, bro, oh man, I can go to a trip to Tahiti or Bora Bora, or I can buy a new coat that costs $1,000. Really cool coat, I want it forever. Or I can go to Tahiti, Bora Bora. You buy experience. You choose to buy experiences over material goods. All right, and then we got our socio-cultural environment, right? The influence from group and family on attitudes and buying behavior reflects self-actualized individual identity, group, or belonging. Look at things like sex roles, division of labor, right? What are females doing in the culture? What are men doing in the culture? Who makes the buying decision? Who shops? Right? Masculine culture, we say, hey, the women shop, the women decorate, the women design. the women who run the house, essentially, right? It's a business and they operate, they run it in a highly masculine culture. In a more sort of egalitarian society, right? You would think like, no, it's shared. Hey, the men cook sometimes, maybe most of the time, right? The men may be taking care of the children most of the time. You know, the women may have, high-powered jobs. And then social class or caste. This is locally important. Is class belonging to administrative, is class belonging demonstrated through consumption, houses, products, services, and exclusive jobs. Right? So there are different social class. Even if you have money, you could be in a different social class. Even if you have money. How could that be so? Like, even if you have a ton of money, you may not reach the highest level of classes. How could that be? Yeah.
You were just there with your occupation, it's like, it's like about more like those occupations, like, there's enough money.
Yeah, honestly think about it, like, blue collar, white collar jobs here. You're like, hey, there might be some electricians that make like $200,000, right? But it doesn't have the status, doesn't have the prestige. And the social circles may not be as affluent as someone with a white collar job making even less money. Right? So social classes, status, prestige, things of that nature. Okay, and then age influences. Do people know their age? Value of younger or older people or society, in society? In some societies, it's very, how do I say it? It's very shameful to have older people work. You're like, how you got your grandma, why is your grandpa working? It's a shame on you and your family, right? Here we say, no, people want to work. They get 65, they're like, I'm just stay home until I die. Right? I get bored, I die. Right? I feel losing. So here, different society, like, hey, we want people to keep working, we keep them active to some degree, we keep pushing back retirement and things like that. And then also there's things like ages. We may think that teenagers are unintelligent. Like, oh man, don't listen to them. You guys listen. Look at the music you listen to. Look at who's talking. You don't know what you're talking about. We may discriminate on younger people here, as opposed to maybe another society which younger people have a high degree of maturity and expectations at a very early age. So they may be respected at a very, very early age, regardless of taking care of their parents. All right, and influence processes across age group, purchasing power, distribution across generation. All right, we talked about patriarchy, such as India, paternal authority across society, right? We expected that the male head of household makes all the important decisions, kind of in unquestionable manner, disrespectful to even question, right, the decision making. You're like, that's bad, that can lead to abuse. You can't question it. Like, that's the norm. But places like India, that exist. Modified patriarchy, such as Greece, right? Where it just really depends. It alternates on the social class of status, how the patriarchy system is. Transitional equalitarianism, the USA, right? You say, really, hey, how the family structure depends on the money structure in the house. Like, damn, we don't respect you because you're unemployed. Mom is respect, right? In the USA, mom takes care of her. In another society, it wouldn't matter if dad was unemployed or not, because they're called shots, right? We would say equalitarianism, hey, it depends on personal resources. It depends on the money. Kind of really, who has the money kind of makes the decision here in the United States. Okay? So we even think of that like the masculine, feminine systems, traditionally speaking, I would say like be a little more submissive and allow the men to make the decisions. But if the men don't have the money, then that's not gonna happen. And there'll be a lack of submission. Because you just can't be respected. It's kind of money's more respected here. Or personal resources. I have money, but really access to money. If you have the capability, you might be able to do something. That's the big thing. And then egalitarianism, such as Sweden. Remember, we said Sweden, free education, free health care, right? So all of those big social systems kind of sets up things to be quite equal. People share. And they can think about male, female, sort of like everybody's just kind of do. That mindset is not really good. All right, and then lastly, we'll talk about family decision making and culture, and then we have our presentations of that. All right, an individualist society. We say feminine gender roles overlap, individual freedoms, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, masculine, Australia, Germany, UK, USA. Individual freedom is prized, and gender role differences, less equality. In collectivists, less autonomy, more family influence, such as South Korea. Right? Family influence is all the behaviors, where you go to school, you're gonna marry, right? Have to be approved by older people, you can marry someone you want to marry someone. And then masculine collectivism, right? Differences, less equality, less autonomy, more family influence, such as Hong Kong, Japan, and Mexico. Right? Mexico's more masculine, Thailand, such as South Korea, more feminine, such as Denmark, Norway, Sweden. All right, we will end off here, and I'll wrap this up on Thursday. Let's see, who you got going first today? Here. All right. I'll just leave this up.
So I read an article just talking about the wealth fund that Trump's trying to create. So like some of the other countries that have a wealth fund are countries like China, Norway, Singapore. So it's like typically a country that has either like a lot of cash on hand, or they have like a natural resource that's like valuable to back it. But Trump's trying to create one for us. And in the article, honestly, it sounded like TikTok was the number one priority, which is interesting, but it sounds like that's what they're trying to use it for, is to buy TikTok, or at least like a partnership in it, so it's not the Chinese owned or whatever. And then there was a small portion discussing airports and highways, but that's all that they know that the fund is even targeting at the moment. And then it's usually, like I said, backed by natural resources or extra cash, which in the article they mentioned, oddly enough, America is in great debt and we don't have a surplus of natural resources. So it's an interesting decision. But we'll be backed by tariffs, because I think everybody kind of knows by now that's what Trump's plan is, to increase tariffs. So that'll be how they're supposed to fund it.
Let me ask you, what is the plan to do with, what's up hand from this wealth fund? How will the money be dispersed, or where is it gonna?
Honestly, they don't know too much, and that's why they said that, unfortunately, it looks like the priority is TikTok, for whatever reason. So yeah, it sounds like the tariffs are supposed to support it, and then taxing us more citizens will create like the money they need for the fund.
How do you look?
I mean, personally, I don't think that that's the smartest way that we could use our money. I also don't believe that tariffs is what our country needs, but yeah, that's me personally.
How do you feel about the wealth fund overall?
I mean, I think it could be a good idea if they were to use it properly, and as long as it was backed the way it should be, because it sounds like is that most countries usually have it backed either by having like cash on hand or again like natural resources, and I don't know if we have enough oil or cash on hand to back something like that, so my concern would be if it was to fail. But if they were to prioritize stuff like airports and transportation, I think that would be very beneficial for the whole country.
Yeah, maybe especially if you use just like substituting social security, right, and improving our lives, and we get money back.
Yeah, it sounds like you won't really benefit much from this.
Yeah, maybe you want down.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Who's next? Yeah, funny enough, one of the companies that I started was called Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's a private equity group that have investors, where we buy small companies like around the world and stuff like that. It literally does, the name of my company is Sovereign Wealth, well, one of them, Sovereign Wealth Fund.
All right, so I was talking to my friend the other day, and he had mentioned how Mountain Dew was going to have a rebrand soon. And I hadn't heard about this, and I was intrigued, so I went into it. On the screen.
Reconnected, yeah.
Oh, it's disconnected.
Yeah. Just like that. Give it a second.
So yeah, they're having a rebrand. On the screen there it has an example of the logos they've had over the years. So the last time they had rebranded was in 2009, and the company said that they wanted to refresh, have a new look, and they're leaning a lot more to like the mountain side of things. They have like the mountains in the background and stuff like that. The changes haven't like gone into effect yet, and that'll happen May this year. And so I think what they're hoping for is to give it more of a naturalistic look as opposed to the more like gamer, very video game feel that it's had for about 15 years now.
What's on the inside of the demo from 2025?
It says established 1948.
Why do you think that's not on any other ones? Why do you think they have that there?
I think it's to show maybe like how they're reputable, they've been around for so long, and usually you don't start to put that until you've been around for a long time. You want to show, hey, we've been here before, we know what we're doing.
Do you think Mountain Dew kind of resonates more with young people or older people or both?
In my experience, it is a bit more young people, but also I think with this logo, it goes back more to like the 90s, and so they're trying to like recapture that audience and bring them in.
So maybe like my age. Yeah, it's interesting that they would add the year, and maybe, like you say, they're trying to recapture their heyday, right? The high point of Mountain Dew, and why people really like it back then, opposed to now. I don't know, what do you think about all of these brand sort of images up here? What's the messaging? Yes?
I feel like I agree with your thing, but I think the 96 logo, like the lettering, compared to the 2025, I think they are trying to rebrand and capture that market segment.
Okay.
And I think that's why they put the year 2 in the new logo.
Okay. Anyone else? Who drinks Mountain Dew? And how do you feel about it as like a brand?
I think it's fine. Big two people do it.
Yeah. Do you think it's hard to find? Like as a soda? Yeah, I'm just interested. You said they're focusing on the mountain part?
Yeah, because they got like the mountains in the background, and I've seen some of like the leaked images of what the new soda cans will look like. They focus a lot more on that as opposed to like, I guess, the flavor of the drink itself.
Yeah, just like it's interesting, they never had the mountains to show them, right? But now they have the mountains. I wonder what they would do for it too, right?
Yeah.
And they have water, like right in front of the mountains too. All right, thanks. Who's up next? Okay. And some other, like you said, we did. Yeah, so interesting, like when you rebrand a logo, you just think like, how far can we go with this, right? You wonder like if those board meetings, or they're like, how do these little changes actually make a difference, right? And like, maybe we do it. I feel like with Red Bull too, like Red Bull hasn't been as popular as it used to. It's like it's still there, but it's not as popular.
I actually did a marketing project about it, and yeah, we said that they should focus more on their actual product, because they don't really market their can.
Yeah.
They just kind of market their sports
Just the sports and not
activities. Yeah.
Hi. Well, I did my book presentation on yesterday, February 3rd, 2025, which was a day without immigrants. It was a movement that aimed to highlight the significant contributions of immigrants to the country's economy and society. And the key takeaways that I took from some of my research was immigrant workers, business owners, supporters participated. They basically just closed down their businesses, they skipped work, and some decided to join peaceful protests, some skipped school. So it's kind of the initiative was to step out of society for a little bit as much as possible. This protest sparked discussion on labor rights, immigration reform, economic dependence on immigrant workers. Some of the things that this initiative kind of brought up was that it increased awareness of how policies affect immigrant workers and business owners, but it also highlighted the role of immigrants in sustaining local economies and kind of showed the effect that immigrants have in like their fields, how it is relevant to everyone around them.
Right, the concept of like, hey, we're not great at everything. That's why we have imports and exports, right? You export what you're great, and you import what other people do great, right? And the same goes with, in essence, we are all immigrants, right? Like, this is not our native land, like America was, we're American. And so we all kind of brought different things over that we were good at culture, talking about those cultural values. I got a friend in India, and I remember somebody having a conversation about like a PhD, right? And he said, everybody else has a PhD. Like it's like nothing, like it's just, you know, just like, oh, you don't have one? You know, like we were talking to someone. Or even engineers and doctors, oh yeah, like 80% of my family is engineers, doctors, and scientists. But it goes to show you, like, hey, in India, the education is so valued that it's just a common way of life. Like it's just expected for you to have an advanced engineering, scientific PhD, as opposed to when you hear, you know, you got a doctor of some sort. So yeah, we need people who have these skill sets from other countries that come here because, you know, we just don't organically do everything great. That's why we outsource a lot of these things, right? So we should have the skills here from the labor force of immigrants. So thank you. All right.
Do you know like what country it comes from?
Whoever, I don't know what country it's from.
Okay.
It didn't say that.
Somebody with Google, what country that's from?
I think that was the article that I did last week, it had to do with DC, and it was from China.
I mean, we see a lot of this, right? I mean, TikTok, now BBC, which is, to me, probably a greater threat, that so much that Australia had to shut it off all government devices. Where do you see things like this going? When you're reading this type of articles?
Like, it's kind of concerning, because like, if a country, like, a major country banning, and they have a platform, like, news to, like, say that the US won't ban stuff like this,
Yeah.
especially like overseas.
So maybe like, hey, this is smart warfare, this is an information warfare, right? And you could wipe out entire stock markets potentially with this, and destroy economies, essentially, right? And then try to have a competitive advancement. All right, excellent, thank you. Okay. All right, hey, you know what, by Thursday, let's also, come up and talk about, hey, just maybe once again, one slide bullet points of your ideas, right? Your topics you're gonna be covering, kinda how you thinking it's gonna go, right? So we can kinda be on the same page and know what everybody's doing. All right, we'll end off there for today, and I will see you on Thursday. Have a great day, everyone.